I'm Jackie Colburn. I'm a rare book cataloger here at the Library of Congress. Thank you for joining me today for this glimpse at the treasures we have in our rare book vault. And today I will show you two of my favorite games, both from the 19th century. Here we have The Mansion of Happiness from 1843 and Office Boy from 1889, produced 2 generations later. At first glance, you can see that these colorful games are basically the same game. A player moves his marker forward and backward along a circular path, according to the rules of the game, with the hopes of arriving in the center before his fellow players, and thereby winning the game. But what does that winner win? If you look at the center of each game, you see that in Mansion of Happiness, the winner achieves spiritual and moral heights. In Office Boy in 1889, the winner achieves financial and professional success. By comparing these two games, we see a shift in the American perception of success during the 19th century. A close look at what is in each little square on the tracks, and most importantly, what is in the centers, shows very different concepts of what success might be. In Mansion of Happiness, the player moves ahead if he lands on a virtue, and he loses ground if he lands on a vice. So landing on piety, for instance, or honesty, lets the player move ahead 6 spaces. But if his marker arrives at idleness, he must retreat to poverty. A Sabbath breaker is sent to the whipping post, and the drunkard is sent to the stocks. The lucky winner arrives at the center, the Mansion of Happiness, the game's version of heaven itself. There's so much implied in some of these connections with the game. For instance, is it idleness that causes poverty? Note that the drunkard is sent to the stocks and not to anything like rehab. In Office Boy, 46 years later, success is redefined. It's hard work, integrity, and salesmanship that moves the player forward, and the winner's success is worldly and financial. He becomes the head of the firm. The player who lands on integrity, advanced to junior partner, moves closer to success. Landing on negligence, go back to stock boy, keeps him away. These games are significant reflectors of changing American ideas. Similar changes can be traced in literature for children in the 19th century. In the 1840s, when Mansion of Happiness was produced, the most prolific publishers for children in the United States were the Sunday school unions. These groups produced simple, nicely printed, small, often illustrated books of fiction, with moral tales. Toward the end of the century, books like Horatio Alger's Rags to Riches stories of poor boys finding financial and social success through honesty, perseverance, and pluck were particularly popular. Alger sold 100 books in many editions with titles like Strong and Steady and Struggling Upward. So consciously or not, the publishers who created and sell the games are never just selling entertainment. They and the parents who buy the games are passing on and affirming social values. Both of these games are digitized, and they're on the library's website. You may want to reproduce the game boards, roll the dice, and play the games for yourself. But no, dice were taboo in children's games throughout this period, and they were considered a gateway to gambling. Instead, these players would use a teetotum to determine how many steps to take on the board game. A teetotum is like a small spinning top with flat sides marked with numbers. A player spins the top, it lands on a numbered side, and he moves his marker accordingly. Looking at and playing the games will let you appreciate how earlier generations of children entertained themselves. Comparing and contrasting the games will show you some changes in American society during the 19th century. Industrialization, an emerging middle class, increased secularization affected the aspirations parents had for their children. We can see the very basic idea of what it means to be a successful, happy person shifting as the century progressed.